correct?
Yeah, this one, you know, is our levy,
Okay,
and that's just for our general assistance.
okay.
And that's, you know, what our general assistance clients come in on. And,
I thought maybe that was your yearly salary or something.
oh, yeah.
You're worth it though, aren't you?
Oh, sure, yeah. But yeah, and then this is our other earn fair. These two are our earn fair.
What does that mean in English?
Well,
Your
it's,
earn fair?
earn fair is like the public aid, when someone gets on food stamps, you know, they have to work them off.
Okay,
So, you
so
know,
they're gonna work this off, correct? Or
No,
am I
this is
backwards?
GA.
That's,
these are like poor people, people that are disabled, can't, you know, work or trying to get disability. So
what are they working off of here?
these two, these are the people that are single, able-bodied adults between 18 and 50 that are on food stamps, but they have to be in our program, and they have to work or go to school. They have to be in 80 hours of activities a month to keep getting their food stamps. And if they fail to do that, then they don't get their food stamps. So we serve, you know, those clients too, along with these.
These,
Yeah. So, and the state pays us, you know.
this
for
amount.
For how much we serve each year.
So are they just basically reimbursing you then?
Well, we're really not out, you know, any money. It's like
Isn't
a
it,
contract.
isn't it like a grant?
Yeah. They give us so much that we can earn each month.
Kinda like an administration fee almost, but more of a grant than,
Right.
okay.
So,
Which account was it that,
hopefully these accounts will be
Glenn was able
bigger
to
as
get
the year
some money
goes.
out of?
It's earn fair.
Earn fair.
Or if it's not even called earn fair anymore, is it?
It's called SNAP.
SNAP?
Yeah.
Okay.
So number 95.
But Cheryl still has it as earn fair. That's why I always just say earn fair.
So who sets the policy on who can get on those two programs? Is that set by the state
Yeah, the earn, or SNAP. And this is just,
or the USDA on the two?
yeah, and this one is just what the guidelines have always been since I've been here. You know, you have to meet qualifications to get on here as well. We just can't let everybody get on. They have to be in need. So, it's just for the, this one is for
That's on the county level.
support. So, when you get to general assistance, that's pretty much. As far as this program.
So what do? You get like a net worth statement from them or something, or I mean, what,
From the GA?
yeah. I mean,
Well-
they just fill out some paperwork? or-
Yeah, they fill out paperwork and they're usually referred from the public aid office as well. So, you know, because they usually refer us, that way I know they're on food stamps, they do.
They're already going that route.
And a lot of them, you know, can't get their medication because they can't get a medical card.
Why can they not get on that, do you know?
Usually, to get a medical card, you have to have dependents. A lot of these people don't have dependents, and it just really takes a lot to get a medical card if you're single. But a lot of them do have to have their medication for diabetes or seizures, and they can't get it, that's where they qualify for a program, or high blood pressure too. So,
Have you got a list of policies or something that's been set in the courthouse at some point in time, or do you,
well, you know, I have a,
how do you know what somehow or another, you've gotta know what the
Well-
measurements are?
yeah, I have a sheet, and I'll show it to you.
Okay, I'll come down.
Yeah, if
sometime.
you come down, I'll kind of show you what I go by to kind of, as a guideline.
Okay.
All right.
You can sign that or look at it.
Oh,
Yes. Get the president over there to
Oh, President.
What are you on, 32 across now?
Yeah.
Larry's down there.
Tyler have any games this week?
Tomorrow. Next one tomorrow.
Or is it home?
I know, I gotta check the schedule.
Is it home?
Oh, I know it's
Oh,
tomorrow,
okay.
Jason, I haven't got that far.
Okay.
I gotta check.
All right.
So, yeah, your last Friday with
Thank
me.
you. Got some stuff for us to sign, I'll go ahead and get started.
Morning.
Anything going on? No? Weather?
Not right now, thank goodness. I'm ready for a break.
Yeah.
It hadn't been too bad. It's been pretty good to us, comparatively. Go north of the ways and it got a lot worse.
You work 2 nights or more.
No, just 2, I think.
I was thinking she was about to call.
Yeah. And north of us, they had a lot more, and the ground temperature stayed up and just enough that it came off good.
This was what, Christmas night y'all had to get started with?
Yeah, actually didn't start till after midnight. It didn't switch over. I was out, but it didn't switch over until right after midnight, so that's when we started. But we put a long day in that day.
Larry, what, on those mailboxes, that people say that the county damaged, have you had any reports?
Yeah, we had a few.
Well, do you just pay them or do you put them back up?
We try to go back out and fix them.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, you made Mike Adams, up there at Gallagher subdivision, you know, Mike,
Okay,
Turn
we went out and done some.
well, you may have done his. Turn
I
on the
know.
first, road to the right, you go down there to the corner and turn left, there's that trailer there on the right.
Yeah, we twisted a couple there, and I went out and straightened them
I
up the
didn't
next
talk to
day.
him, I think he did say it was just damaged, I don't think it tore it down.
We went out, and some of them we knew, we went out and checked. It took us a day or two, because we were
Yeah.
still,
Oh, I know, I got these calls,
yeah.
like Sunday, Monday, but I didn't.
But yeah, in fact, the fella come in and says, he actually, most of them we get with snow. Snow was so heavy, it just,
Yeah.
and if they ain't up very good, it takes them down, you know, even as careful as you are.
Well, you know Miss Krim there behind the gun club there
Yeah.
on the right, she said she lost hers.
We try to check them out. Several that we got calls on, let's see, when was it? It was Monday before I got out and got to checking them. A lot of them were, people had already put them back up, you
Yeah.
know, but we go fix them.
Well, a lot of those boxes too are in very good shape. You know.
Yes,
I was telling
fairly.
Jeff, I went down Country Club Road here 4 or 5 years ago and the wind blew one off, and that truck, somehow the wind blew one off the post.
One of them, we got a call, well, no, we did get a call. Guy says he knew he had knocked it down. And we went out Monday and they says they couldn't find mailbox, post or anything. Somebody, they said it was a house, was for sale, didn't think anybody lived in it. Said there was nothing left. They picked it up, and so if we get a call, we'll go fix it. Otherwise, but
You don't know who to fix.
some we knew we got, some we got calls on, and some I got calls on. The guy says, just thought you want to know, you got my mailbox. Okay, what's your address? Oh, I'll take care of it. And so, well, thank you, you don't have to do that, you know, we'll. But, yeah, this snow, and like I said, the Gallagher, they hit it. Well, usually it's just the snow, and the guy come in and says, I actually hit 3 with the snow plow. And they tell me when that snow plow's cocked, you have a trouble seeing over the hood.
Yeah,
Said if you bring it out a little bit, if you take it out too
That's
much,
all.
then it won't shed.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that's what they got into. They says, you know,
it's kinda right
if
there.
you slow
underneath
down
it.
slow enough that it doesn't throw it out there, then it don't shed, it piles up in front of you.
Yeah.
If you go fast enough, then she
Can't see it.
You can't see it and it kicks it out there, and so
Nature of the beast, no big deal.
it's,
If anybody gets upset, offer to let them shovel it off.
Yeah.
the bad we didn't like is Polk County come all the way to Unionville one time, and we had to go back and fix about 6 boxes. A couple of years ago, they got down there and says, well, somebody's plowed. Must come from Polk County, and he did come all the way to Unionville, turned around there at the intersection, and went back. We got called by 6 mailboxes, we had to go fix. Don't know how much that really helped us.
Diesel fuel would have been cheaper if you just went ahead and
You
plowed
want
your own.
some?
No, I'm good. Do I have to, all 3 of them, or not?
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Supposed to?
Uh,
Is your budget passed? No.
how about this PayPal account on this? Can you talk to,
Let's see, PayPal. One was a, what did I buy? One was an antenna. A wireless antenna for the internet, or the computer. And I think the other one was, QuickBooks, somewhere.
We're working on a 2012 budget under this, ain't we? You still,
Yeah, this is still last year.
are you under budget?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
That don't do me much good. I'd like to know before I put my name on something.
Yes. I'll tell you we are then. I keep an eye on that. I will say
When we get a 2013 budget passed for the county, the treasurer's office we will know.
Yeah, they'll have to enter it.
They keep it, I mean, there's a budget and we're not allowed to go over that. So they will know when to
You
stop.
can
right.
amend, did you happen to get that, for that seminar, that they're gonna hold, that free seminar?
I think it was laying in here one day.
Well, I got it. I mean, that would be a good one to go to, because they explain county budgets, and, you know, and, probably wouldn't hurt me to go to it.
I've gone to them and they,
Just 3 of them.
You know, it talks about amending and enforcing, and
is that the one? The one I went to was put on by Home Extension one time.
that's,
I went up
that's
to
the one I,
County.
do you know they don't do that anymore?
Oh, is that right?
No, I went, the first one I went to was teleconference. And I mean, it was very informative. I'm sure this has to be very similar, but I think it's geared toward county commissioners more than it is,
Who's putting us on, do you know?
United Counties Council of Illinois, UCCI.
No, you got much planning to do.
Seemed like we picked, yeah, we've got a little one that we're finishing up, and then it seemed like there's another two, of course, I wanna check on that one out on that fishing still,
Oh,
yeah. We talked
Forgot about
about
it.
it. I haven't, but,
that might be a shade thing there. I never saw many deer cross there. This, a while a minute, was talking about them deer jumping out there, Now, just past that, they do.
kitchen there. I gotta go pick one up.
Got a dead deer?
I ran over it. Doesn't have so much for 'em.
He ran over you?
No.
Or ran under you?
No, yeah, well, it was down.
Oh, he's already laying down, huh?
Truck coming to meet me, hit it, and knocked it down, literally right in front of me, and I was unable to start.
Where did that happen before?
And, went down the road, turned around, come back. Thought, yes, he may not be dead, I may need to call something, but it was. So I drug him off the road, and that guy turned around, come back too. Both of us want to make sure he got off the road, but I literally ran over it, and I like to hit 2 or 3 others, and I mean, one of them might come so close, I bet. During that snow, and they were out.
That's yours too, isn't it?
Yeah.
You were acting underneath your 2011 budget? Just a continuation, or what are you doing out there?
Well, I was acting in 2012, when I was acting under, but,
Do you have a 2012 budget? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Didn't I get you a copy of his?
yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
I had a proposed 13 one, I thought. Or have you turned that in yet?
Oh, yeah, I did that 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the one I've got.
That may be the one.
No.
That's the one I've
I
got.
think he's got the 12. It's one you brought him in here that day.
Okay, I thought so.
Because it was after that I turned, I think the week after that I turned 13 in. So, I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Gentlemen, have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, thank you, too.
Stacked up in there.
That's right. Perfect.
Christmas.
Real good. Good deal. Nobody was sick, everybody was good.
How about over the jail, you fool?
John, I want to let you know that on Sunday night, we had 59 people up there.
It's a record, isn't it?
Most we've had in a while. 17 of those were out of county. Now today, we're down, we got 54. But I checked it for the last week, almost every day, and it's been 53, 54, 55. But everything's running smooth. There's that many people.
You have your 2013 budget submitted yet?
That's what I want to ask you about today. I've been talking to Patrick about it. The bills that I have left over from 2012, which I think today was 75,000, were those going to be taken off 2012 budget, or are they going to carry over to 2013?
Well, it depends on if we can, what do you want to say, John?
The auditors generally like to have those, revert back to the 2012.
That's the only thing I've done. I've got it all made out, but I just didn't know if I need to add the line items to make up for this, or...
Well, I mean, I hope we can get these bills paid, and we just looking at borrowing money. But Patrick had told us to wait the first year, so we're there. If we could do that and get all the bills paid up, then it would be fresh.
I turned in today, I just have Sandy and Juanita work it out, whichever bills were accrued last year, taken off last year's budget, start out fresh.
The last one I have of this here is, 2012, what was remaining and stuff. This year was through September 30th. Have you ever seen any of these?
And that's only accurate as to the bills that's been paid.
Right.
she gave me today. That's as close as she could figure what we had left. And when you take off the unpaids off of those. The only one that's hard to figure is the fuel, because we may have about $4,000 worth of fuel that Citgo hasn't turned in to us for collection yet, so
So this is if all the bills that she has is paid up.
hadn't been paid. That's what was left.
So utilities ran just a hair bit short on $800, looks like.
And a lot of that was that, what did the city call that extra fee that they put in there? That's
EPA or
that's what
whatever.
threw that off.
I think it came out pretty good on jail maintenance. 3,000 and plus. Showed that to Jeff and Gerald, I guess, trying to explain to them.
This is the current of this, but what Sandy does, the $75,000 bills that hadn't been paid, if those bills were paid today, this is what we would have left. in the budget.
What is 4,000 unpaid, is that?
This one was talking about the Citgo bill.
Oh, okay.
We got $4,000 for gas.
You just,
They haven't turned.
you
it
don't
in.
know it yet, okay.
That was really gonna be close. We're all pretty close. John, we did a feasibility study a couple of years ago, when we, the bond fee over there, do you remember what that was? Was that like $1,500?
Man. If you give me a while, I could look it up. It was, it was pretty reasonable for feasibility study. Do you remember who did it?
David had that, I can't remember which group did it. I don't know if it would be worthwhile redoing one of those or not, but it said we were maxed out on what we could charge.
If we're maxed out, there's,
Yeah, I don't know what variables would have changed in the last 5 years.
I mean, usually though, anytime you increase a fee, you have to have one of those feasibility studies. And sometimes, the way some of these companies charge, but it takes you 4 years to recover just the fee to get it done before you start making any money.
All of that, Gerald?
Can you like with the cars not hitting nothing?
Don't jinx me.
There's that back.
We got one at the Hillgrands, probably gonna have to put a transmission in, but Mike's trying to find me a used one someplace.
How much is it used for? Ted?
He says probably around about $750 to $800.
That's a lot cheaper than having one rebuilt than.
Don't some of these have heaters in them, or,
They got a heater, but that's about it.
well, they are stripped down, aren't they? I looked in one of it the other day.
There's no comforts in it, they just got a heater and that's it.
Which car is the transmission, one of the older ones, or?
Was the one we're gonna keep for spares, one Deputy Penrod was driving, but we gave him that last black and white one that we bought, those two used ones last year.
Mhm.
So his car was gonna be the spare car, but his rear end just went out of it. Two cars we got over here we're gonna sell, those rear ends won't fit his car. There's like a year or two difference.
Which car's better? I mean, one of them, do we use that and
No,
sell it?
these two are shot. I mean, we'll get maybe $1,000, $1,500 out of them, sell them at auction. Car, he's, guy's worth $3,000, $4,000.
Want that back?
Who lives next, which one lives next to you in the school? I see a deputy's car there.
Josh Riley.
Josh Riley.
So far, those cars, he's got one of those cars, so they work out real well. I'm gonna try to get another one this year if I can. Same price.
About, can we do the grant thing again and get a new one?
I doubt if we get a grant this year, it's like every other year.
Okay.
We got a grant in '09 and we got a grant in '11. Or no, we got one in 10, 12, so 14, 4. Lisa's gonna apply for one for me, but I doubt if we'll get it.
If you can bring that budget over today, I appreciate it.
Okay.
We'll make copies of it and have it by next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Knows we have a position open for the county treasurer. Floyd Sullivan has decided to retire. And we put a notice out to the different parties, the Democratic Party, Republican Party, and the Constitution Party, and each of them responded back. The Democratic Party recommended Devin Wilkie, and the Republican Party and the Constitution Party had recommended Dana Jones. And they were the only two that had sent in a resume during the time period that we could accept them. The commissioners interviewed both candidates last week. And at this time, I think, we're gonna make the decision on who is gonna take that position. I personally feel like both candidates are good and qualify for the job. I am gonna recommend, I feel like Dana Jones, because I feel like she can do the job, and she's been in the position for many years as an employee. And also, we have an opportunity to save the county some money by reducing the payroll in that office, because she'll be assuming the role, possibility of assuming the role as the elected person, or the person in charge in that office. We could save on her salary as an employee. I guess at this time, I'll just let Jeff and Gerald have any comments before we make a decision. If we have any.
John, in 2002, was our recording fee 35?
2002.
10 years.
Yes.
35?
Putting
I
pressure
can't
on
remember
him.
yesterday, my wife put 2000.
Yeah, because it was that, when did we first implement that GIS? Who wanted to know 2002? That's 10 years ago.
Spring Lake Financial wants to know how much something was recorded in 2002.
Tell me it's $1,000 pop.
I guess we could go upstairs eventually, and
If they got it over for sure, but I'm gonna tell them, I think it's 35, but
if we,
very, very important.
because I can't remember, because it was 25, and then at some point we instituted that GIS fund, and I cannot remember
Okay,
when that was.
I can't either. Thanks.
Jeff, if you want to make any comment about
I got a question for Patrick. By law, what are the rules as far as staffing in that office, in the treasurer's office? Or do you know off the top of your head?
I mean, they have a minimum requirement for
Yes.
staff. They have to be allowed to have a staff to do their job. And so it's your determination as a board as to what that budgetary amount is that equals that staff. They do have a union contract which dictates their pay and the pay increases, but the number of staff members is basically within your purview. It's setting their budget.
Okay. Well, I think either one of the candidates would have done good, but because of budget constraints, and because I think she can do the job, I'm going to recommend Dana as well.
And Ms. Childers, you want to make any public comment, or do you just want to, that we make a motion and put it on the roll call, or how you want to do
Yeah,
it?
let's make a motion.
All right. As chairman, I make a motion to, make a motion to have Dana Jones to take over the position as the county treasurer. And this time, I guess we'll have a roll call. Mr. Weber
I'll second that for vote 8.
and Jerry,
No, I'm fine.
is that
I
a,
will beat me.
is that a
I
yea
know
or a
what you
nay?
said, aye?
Hey, aye.
Oh, aye. Yeah, I'll.
Yes.
I'll recommend her.
Okay. And I did too, so we got 3 yeas on that. All right. Hope she realizes the work she's getting into here.
We had a couple of things. I got the certification for the next 2 years, and it went to the wrong county. I wonder why they hadn't sent me one or anything. Anyway, that means we're approved for 2 more years for the accreditation department.
Let me ask you a few questions about that.
Okay.
You know, we had talked about the other day, or today, about starting interviewing people for the ESDA job. Like the grants, and I know we had that one grant that goes from like July through June, right?
Right.
So we're good with that, but, I was concerned with this, you know, when you first took the job, you had to really get down deep and get those plans wrote out and all that stuff. Is that?
Well, that's what this is.
Okay.
I've completed that.
You completed it, so we're good for 2013, okay, that's, I was
2
worried.
years, actually.
Okay,
And
because that was something that you really had to hit hard.
I had to do it right when I first
Because
went
we
to
didn't
work.
really have the proper
It's
thing.
kind of interesting.
So, we're good. What would be the main focus on someone when they take that position? What's really something that has to get started on?
Well, they'll have to get well, first of all, they'll have to take a few classes that they'll tell them they have to
Right.
take immediately. And that's always, the first thing out the door, and then the next thing they'll have to do is get a idea about the grants, what they are and what they gotta do. And a lot of that's paperwork.
But there's no, anything that's got some deadlines like March or April, that's something.
No, there'll be the next grant year, which we haven't even finished the last one. You'll have to fill out a new application for a grant, which is just paperwork again. I actually did that before I came in a few days early to get that done, because there was a deadline, I think March the 15th,
Okay.
when I went to work. But this here is gonna get you covered for 2 more years, what it amounts to. I keep it down there in a frame, hanging on the wall, but
Just like with yourself, when you take the position, you contact the coordinator for this area, and then he gets with them and says, okay, this here's the classes you need to take, this here's what you need to do.
They'll lay it out for him, and Brian Breckemeyer, I don't know if some of you guys have met him. Brian, I talked to him on the phone last week, and he said he'd be willing to come down and meet with you guys, or if you wanna get the phone numbers from me, you can call him and talk to him.
Okay.
He could run through some things for you, but there's not much there. I mean, you know, I can tell you that you're gonna have to take 2 or 3 classes immediately, and then from there on, it's just pick up and start figuring out what you gotta do. But it, kinda learn on the job type thing. And that's, you know, you saw it during the flood is the biggest thing we had, but, you know, the state's real willing to supply you with some information, you know, help. I had 2 guys they sent down to help me, you know, that were advisors more or less. Anytime you have a major undertaking like that, you're gonna get help from the state. If you ask for it, you know, they asked me if I wanted it, I said, sure, you know. Go ahead, Gerald.
How many volunteers do you have?
We've got about 50 now that are
Really?
on the list, that are sworn volunteers, and the state tells you to get them picked up under the insurance, they have to be signed and take an oath. And we put them down and got them on the list. Of that 50, there's probably, you know, 15 or 20 of them are kind of the leaders of the bunch.
Yeah.
But during the flood, we pretty well called on everybody we had on the list that were then, and we didn't have that many. We picked up quite a bit because of the flood, actually. Guys saw the other guys were working, they wanted to get involved. So we got some weather watchers, and that's what you hear about, you know, they go out and listen when the weather's bad, report to the weather service.
You know, the high schools were really good during that flood. They was tremendous, the students.
Yeah. The, Jason Hayes organized that out there at high school. We helped them all the time. Hauled sand and sandbags and stuff out there to them. That was pretty well coordinated by them, which was a good deal. You might have heard me say it before, I went to sandbagging school. As one to Stan was the coordinator back then, and he said, why don't you go to this FEMA flood school? That's what it's called. And I went, and that was really good to find out what you're really supposed to do, but the big thing is try to get somebody else to do the work. You know, you want to be in charge, liability wise. Don't quote me, please.
Really, with the phone all ring like that, you can't hardly be out there all the time.
When you can't supervise, and you know, there's a lot of guidelines if you really get into it, what you're supposed to do. And if you're not in charge, you're not the one that's gonna do it. You know, if you talk to FEMA, they're gonna tell you gotta have eye protection, everybody's gotta have eye protection, everybody's gotta have gloves, everybody's gotta have, you know, first aid person on scene. They'll tell you everything you gotta do. And obviously, if you're not in charge, you don't have to do it. It's just.
How do you work around that, I understand? Like if you're not, I mean, is that when the coordinator go to you?
You just get somebody,
A
you mean,
volunteer,
just a
basically.
volunteer to do it, take care of it.
Okay.
The high school volunteered out there.
Okay.
The city had their group here. And then people would call and say they want to come and help. And I'd say, well, you can go to high school or you can go down there in the city a lot. And then we were lucky to get the Corps of Engineers, the National Guard.
Were those big diesel pumps available? I mean, as many as you needed?
Actually, on pumps from the Corps, part of the federal law says the Corps of Engineers has to help you fight a flood. So if you're having a flood anywhere in your county, you can go to the Corps of Engineers. If you don't have pumps, you can tell the Corps, I need help, I need pumps. And they will supply you with pumps. And they did that really well during the flood here. I mean, you know, we got pumps down in Brookport. I was talking to Tomcat over the weekend. There was probably 6 or 7 big pumps in Brookport.
Those 4 inch or 6 inch?
Smaller was some bigger than that.
Really?
They had some 12-inch, and 11.
Well, the reason I think when that tractor pump quit out there at Woodhaven, I think that's when they lost ground.
Yeah. Well, see,
They had mine out there in that 3 inch, and I think they had 2 twos out there, that's all they had, and it was raining hard.
yeah, that's the backwater got them, actually, the water on the backside.
Yeah. But I was just wondering
If I would've been asked, I could've got a FEMA pump.
yeah, that's.
Nobody asked.
So what constitutes a flood? Is
What?
it somebody coming and asking you?
Well,
I mean, is it
no,
gotta
well,
affect
the reason I
X
said
amount of
that,
households?
the reason I said that is you got, and you may not know this, the city's got their own emergency manager, and the county's got theirs, and Woodhaven's in the city. So. the-
So technically, they couldn't ask you.
They should, they could have.
They
Or could've
can,
went-
but they did not.
Right. I helped out there, Gerald knows we helped out there with sandbagging, but we were doing it through the high school. or
Yeah, different. channel.
dumping equipment out there for them and stuff like that. We paid for all the sand that was hauled during the flood. The county paid for it through the FEMA grant. But there were so many trucks that did it, and we had, I think there were 6 different individuals. And people just turned in their tickets on what they said they hauled. That's all you could do, and took their word for it. And most of them, I think, was honest. And, some did more than others. Jeff May did a lot of trucking. And we dumped sand, everywhere that people asked for sand, and that's what we did, and got them sandbags. But,
You know, they was running out of the tandem load in about 20 minutes.
it takes an army of people to do sandbagging, and then if you do it right, you gotta have plastic, and that's what I went to school for. I mean, I had guys that was trained, and some of the volunteers went out and tried to show people what to do, but people don't always wanna follow directions, and they think they know better. There's a way to make it work, but you gotta put it up, pretty wide and do some substance to it. But the FEMA's got all kinds of schools people can go to. I went to that one, and they've got some good schools, to give you some good ideas. The only reason I said what I said is, there's so many regulations that if you'll be in a violation of something.
Right.
It's just that way. You can't get a volunteer. Basically, I'm not supposed to have volunteers under 18 years old working for me. So they're not covered under any insurance in the state. So if you go out and get 16-year-old kids working for you, then you're taking the liability. And that, in today's world, you better think about it. You got all kinds of problems.
Well, I'm hoping we get the job filled soon.
You've got some applications on here.
Yeah, we did.
Larry, who issues this accreditation? Is it IEMA?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have said that. Without that, you won't get the grant money, and without that, you won't get the, FEMA wouldn't fund the grant money either. I mean, that's how the state gets the money, it's coming from FEMA.
You say that certificate's good for,
2 years.
from what date?
Well, it's on here, I'll show it to you.
You don't mean to be, no, they just want to put it.
Well, I should have had it a month or so ago, but it went to the wrong county, and that lady up there down at Florida, Illinois, forwarded it to me. I don't know.
Fortunate you got it, aren't you?
Yeah, I was kinda wondering why I hadn't got it, because I knew it should have been here, and last week it showed up.
Okay, September 30th, 2014.
Grandkid having a good Christmas.
Oh, yeah, spoiled rotten. Yeah, we had a little snow, everybody got to play in the snow. No big bottlenecks transportation wise, luckily. Mount Vernon had a train wreck, well, I'd hate to have one of them.
Mount Vernon?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is this where the ethanol was leaking? I seen the story, but I didn't.
Yeah, they got,
It's not just ridiculously dangerous, is it?
no.
right in the middle of the town or out in the county?
No, it's outside of Mount Vernon, to the east, I think. We've got major train tracks through Massac County, that's always a concern. The pipelines is another concern, you know, that whoever goes in there, you just kinda gotta study what you got, figure, you know. The first responders, that's what normally is gonna get the calls, the fire department or the sheriff's gonna get the call.
They've got these trains where they're running pretty fast now.
I noticed.
Where we're putting in that new bridge up there on Silva, they can run 60 through there. And that's just leaving the bridge down there,
Yeah.
so they're picking up pretty good.
Yeah, the two main lines we got through the county, they're pretty well good maintained lines too, but
Yeah.
there's so much traffic.
Honeywell called and canceled that meeting this past month, didn't they?
Yeah, they said they're gonna reschedule.
I got that phone, I got a message and I didn't.
They haven't rescheduled yet. I don't know what the.
Who's this? Railroad?
Yeah, no, Honeywell out there, they had it's about every 2 or 3 months probably.
Every quarter,
Yeah.
there's a Honeywell Citizens Committee that Honeywell actually appoints the people to. They'll ask me if there's anybody I wanna help get on there or whatever. We got a pretty good group of people in here right now.
Yeah, we meet and basically, you know, Honeywell just kind of gives you an update on their status, if they're bringing everything back up. And shows us reports of like incidents and lost time, if they have that, and what they're doing on safety issues out there.
Honeywell's communication is, since I've been here, is a lot better from what I can tell from what it used to be. Just to give you an instance, yesterday I got a call. They were gonna set off their out of the fence sirens for their monthly drill. And they give me an update on that. Today they called me and they set their sirens off in the plant. Where that comes in handy is that people in town will hear them and they'll call and want to know what's going on. There's an escape, they've lost something or something going wrong. They set their,
You're supposed to have answers.
yeah, 911's got the same information. People do call and ask about it. And the other thing, Honeywell tests their outside the gate sirens the same time Massac County tests their 911 sirens, I call them. Okay, people don't distinguish between whose is what. And so there's one lady invariably will call me when Honeywell don't set theirs off till 10:15. She'll call me and want to know why the sirens didn't go off in front of her house. And, you know, it's, well, they will in a minute. And they did, you know, when she calls me back, oh, they will. Well, that's a different siren, but a lot of people don't know the difference. And Honeywell has informed everybody in their area out there what those are about. The letters and everything that people have got, you know, and if anybody wants on Honeywell's list, all they gotta do is call out there and they'll put them on a call-out list too. If anything's going on, they get a call. The Gerald probably gets calls from them, I'm sure he's out there.
From who?
Honeywell,
Oh, yeah.
you're on the list, I
Yeah.
bet you.
Yeah, they provided the new sirens for us, we just had to maintain them, right?
Yeah, and that's something that's not been addressed, how we're gonna do that, really. And the majority of them are actually in the city, but in the corporate city limits. Somebody ought to come up with something, I think we talked about that once before, just come up
Where
with.
is there 2 in the corporate city limits? There's one out there by the high school.
Yeah, there's one out, actually, there's the new ones, the old one's out the high school, the new one is there by the Baptist church.
Okay, so it's in the city limits.
And then you got the one out at Woodhaven and the one over here at the elementary school, and then you got one out here at there by the driver's license station. You got one on top of Harris Hotel now. Pretty well gives you a good cover of the heavy population area. And Brookport's got one, and Chapel's got one, and you got one out by Franklin School.
Is there one by Jefferson School?
No, we don't have anything at 4 out.
I wonder why couldn't
Well, there's, you know,
I put on top of the water
Water
tower.
tower. I was thinking years and years ago, where was it?
the closest one was Franklin, that was the closest. You know, somebody might try to figure out a way to salvage some of those old ones and set some up, cost money. You know, Honeywell was out quite a bit on those, putting them up and getting them started.
Couple $100,000, wasn't
Yeah. Yeah, pretty well, not quite that much, it's getting up there. You know, they're working, that's the reason we run the test every month, to make sure they work. And I do send some of the volunteers out sometimes, check on the ones out in the county, and then call down to Joppa and see if it worked, you know.
it? The one by the high school worked, is it still up on the pole?
Yeah, but it doesn't work anymore.
It
It's
doesn't?
on the old one,
But I'm saying, if we could take
It's
some that work.
functional.
yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it's functional, but you'd have to some way program it into the system. And these new ones have got a wavelength on them that you'd have to program those probably
Oh,
to make them work.
it'd be just nice if we can get some out in that area.
Well, you know, we talked about maybe taking some of those down and moving them, but again, that's, you know, if you come up with a way to do it, the money wise, what you got into. You know, you might.
Is there a
talk-
grant for that, I wonder?
I don't know, co-op might help on moving them or something, if somebody asks them, you know. I'm not gonna volunteer that, I'm on that board over Donville, but, you know, whether they do it or not, I'm sure they think about it. It might be nice to move one of them old ones out there if you get them programmed where they go off.
What other part of the county is kind of weak on coverage, you feel?
If you go out anywhere outside of Brookport, east, you know, Unionville area. The other thing we got a little better grasp of is the shelters. And we've got some shelters that are approved by the Red Cross now, and that's a big issue with FEMA too. I don't want to go into all the details there, I will privately, you won't hear about it, but the school districts, or the shelters right now, the main shelters, if you had a major event, you know, the high school and the junior high and Joppa, or in Maple Grove were signed up, and the Red Cross is certifying those as shelters. Now, the city metropolis is, they got First Baptist and some other maybe here in town, I'm not
I
sure
thought
what
the
they.
fire department in Brookport was. Didn't they, last time they had the flood, didn't Red Cross bring in a bunch of beds in there or something?
I'll tell you what they'll do. The Red Cross will make their own shelter if they need one, even though they don't have it approved. And I found out from the schools, when we started into the school deal, the new schools, like the elementary school in Brookport, doesn't have showers. So the Red Cross wants a building that's got showers. You know, obviously, why you need showers, so that's another issue. But if there was a major mishap of some sort, they'll bring in portable showers, you know. That's what they did at Waldo when they had that shelter out there last year. So, you know, the Red Cross can pretty well, they're almost like the Army, I think. They can just pretty well do what they want to in an emergency. They got emergency powers that come into play. So if you don't have a shelter, they'll make a shelter. If you don't have a ramp, they'll make a ramp. You know, that's the issue you get into with shelters. They have to be handicap accessible.
Can a courthouse be a shelter?
It is. It is a shelter now.
We are needing a ramp.
Well,
we're getting one,
I
aren't
think
we?
we're in position for that, you know, they go in the basement. But yeah,
There's some issues there that's really big in the national level on handicap accessible stuff. Rather not get into too much of it, but, you know, if you want to talk to me about it, I'll tell you what I know, and Gerald, I know, knows quite a bit of it too. I saw you had a visit last week about security in the courthouse. The week before, we did a couple.
that guy came down Friday and I met with him out here about that ramp. And, I guess we got that going. I've kind of changed my mind, instead of having 3 runs to get there, I think we'll just come straight down north and 180 and then come back. I believe it'd be closer to the building and I'd be good better off. If that's okay with you guys.
I trust you, whatever.
Okay.
There is a,
we, I'd like to, of course, it's too late, I guess, for you, but I'd like to say, you know, let's go forward with that building we talked about. We can get that started, or I don't know what would be involved.
Well, I've been looking for grants, but there's, so far, there hasn't been any.
Oh, really?
You know, the last time they had that go around was February of 2010. There hasn't been anything that I've seen at all as buildings. We really need a building to put this truck in we got out here. And some other equipment we got. Larry Glasgow's let us store the flood equipment out there, the baggers and that stuff, you know, we got it stored out there. But that's just not a good deal, you know. I mean, I'm fortunate to have a place you can put it somewhere, but.
And what about that generator, you know, I think on this grant, I got thinking, if somebody disabled was in, on the top floor and had a fire or something, the elevators,
Elevator's a bad place to be.
yeah, quit and.
You're gonna have to have somebody, you know,
Help
I
them
had,
down.
I had 2 employees here in the courthouse come and talk to me a week or 2 ago about evacuation plans and stuff for the jail. I don't have any. I mean jail, the courthouse, I'm sorry, courthouse. There's no plans that I have, but obviously if you got somebody on the 3rd floor of this building, and they're in a wheelchair,
Somebody's gonna have to help them
you're gonna
down.
have to carry them out. You know, somebody's gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to call somebody and say, hey, help. That's about the only way you got to go.
Well, one guy could do it, you
You
know,
have to
put
have
him in a
more than
wheelchair, but.
That's kind of where you're at on that. I think you got to have with any building, though, with the elevator, and you got a stairway, but you got the same problem. You know. Can't build a ramp from the top of the building. Guess you could, but it'd be kind of prohibitive. I think, you know, the idea is come up with a plan where you could have, you know, somebody would come and help if you had that, you know.
Yeah.
About all you can do is.
Well, you know, I've never took a poll, but I doubt if there's 2 people a month coming here in a wheelchair. I'm not up here all the time, you guys might know more
You'd
about
be,
it.
I think you might see more than that.
Really?
but There's not a lot, but there is some movement.
Yeah.
And it's,
There's more people use that elevator downstairs than I, surprises me.
Yeah,
Every time I walk by, there's somebody waiting on that elevator to open up. I don't know if it's because it's, you know,
people use it.
it's handy,
Yeah, but-
or they don't wanna walk up the steps or what, but, I mean, it seems like it takes forever.
Well,
Well, quicker to go the other way, but.
you know, I don't wanna get into that too much, but if you know, if you don't build your ramp, the only way you gotta do is down here, and then security, you got a problem, because you gotta have 2 places.
Right.
You know, and people will tell you a pass card will let you in, you can do that, but, you know, if you're a mugger and you use the pass card, he's gonna walk in too, you know. That's not good, you know, security's security.
I talked to, Monty Russell in Pulaski. They've got one of the pass cards, told me it cost them $10,000 to get that deal done. Get the door fixed and everybody with a card.
No kid.
That's what he said.
And then it's not security, though,
No.
because all you gotta do is walk in behind the guy, push him over and walk in.
Well, if we could have, the employees just use that entrance.
Yeah, but I'm saying, somebody.
Yeah, but I can knock an employee in the head and take his
Well,
passport.
yeah, they could do that, but I mean, they
It's not
would
secure.
know that they wasn't supposed to use it, you know.
You've gotta have a guard.
Well, just like Monty said, it's not 100% safe. Nothing you can do is gonna make it 100%.
Or if they could walk in and shoot your guard and walk on past.
Yeah, that's just, anything can happen. Take them all, I'm on that diet, that resolution.
I'm starting Monday.
Start Monday.
Next Monday?
We're having a big weigh-in at work next Monday. I need to start now. I weighed the other day.
I saw something this morning, said there were more liars in January.
It's my sugar.
You get signed
I got
for Dan.
2 surefire ways to lose weight.
Is there only
There's no,
one liquor
it'll
license?
work every time.
No, we actually have 2.
Don't bend your elbow.
Got them in a bucket,
That's
and
it.
then the landing
You
strip.
won't lay, you will lose weight.
That's on the way to work.
Yeah.
What was
They
that?
haven't.
Unless you got a good friend.
Yeah.
And then to sit far enough away from the table, you can't reach the table.
There's only 5 a year.
Well, they,
That's the only
Whenever
two
they
ways I
applied
know it
for it,
works.
it's-
So you can't even
No,
call a
it's
friend
not.
to come feed you without bending your elbow.
That's the only two.
And some of them renew for like 6 months.
Right, okay. I thought maybe it was something in December 31st.
No, no,
Has Hodge still got license?
no.
Well,
You'd have a hard place.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Be hard selling out there on the side of the road, wouldn't it?
When did we, come up with this truck? Was this after the 9/11 stuff?
Yeah, it was a grant through.
Yeah.
Floyd,
It is.
or, what's his name, got it?
OD.
OD, yeah.
Yeah, OD got it through Homeland
Yeah,
Security
sitting out there at
grant,
the firehouse for a long
but
time.
it's supposed to be hitched to a trailer that's over at the city farm right now. It's
Is it the ambulance service or is it the fire department? I didn't know.
Well, it's the fire department, it's mass casualty, you got body bags and stuff on there. The idea is that that truck there could pull that trailer anywhere it needs to go here in southern Illinois, so that truck has to be made available. What I've been told in the state was part of the agreement is that that truck's available for somebody else to use. And so the keys to that truck, at least one set of them are over at the sheriff's office at all times, so they know if some other county comes to get it, or Massac Fire, or somebody needs it to come and get it. So it's not a truck that you can run around and go,
Get chores in,
go
yeah.
anywhere you wanna go, you
It
know.
needs to
it's-
be available.
Right, that's the reason it's sitting where it's sitting, and, you know, it's available. And I have been called about it with the Illinois Terrorism Task Force called me, wanted to know where, how, if they wanted to access that truck, where would it be at? They know the information too, so. I've been told from the state level, you know, it's just, basically, it's not a daily operation truck that you drive around and use. I do occasionally drive it, so it's just not.
It needs to be
sensitive.
driven.
I had to put some new batteries on it last week, and I think, I can work that through one of the grants, get it paid for about $300 batteries and oil change, and never had the oil change in it, and I changed the oil and put new antifreeze in it, 7, 8 years old,
Is that right?
yeah, it's old 5,
Has same oil in it.
yeah.
Well, it ain't got no miles on it, does
No,
it?
it's not 80 miles, 6,000.
Yeah, but
Be a good truck to, someone to buy if you ever sold it, you know.
It's a heavy-duty truck, man, you're talking 550,
Would you ever even be able to sell it?
no.
Even after,
I mean,
if
it'd
it
take an
rusted
act of
down?
Congress.
No.
Because it was, went through that program. you know.
Yes.
We have equipped it with a few other things. We got a couple body bags on that truck, you know, and some other safety equipment like, you know, gloves and stuff.
If you was to have a, God forbid, a Greyhound wreck or something on the interstate, you would go get that trailer and use it.
Using this, then you get the coroner involved, you know. That's the idea is, you know, it's subject to being used by anybody. It's in the emergency management or fire department, or anybody can come and get it. So it's gonna be available. It'd be nice if we had a shed out here somewhere, you know, you could put it in, but it was up to the county fire department. No, actually, first it was over here at the city, set over there for a while, I think, and then finally county fire took it out. City fire and county fire, and then moved from the city to the county, and then it moved back to the county when I got this job. It's covered under the county automobile insurance package. Anyway, I'll get out of here. I don't have anything else, guys. I just wanted you to know that you got 2 more years on this. That should, you know, whoever takes over should be able to go from there. They won't have to come in and have to rewrite it originally like I did.
Okay.
Appreciate you at least getting it done.
Well, you got to.
That gives them a head start.
If you don't do it, it actually, I'm inclined to say that it suffices for the state, but it's got some rough places in it too. Everything does you right, and plan's a plan, you know. If you don't follow it, you know, when you have an emergency, most people aren't gonna pick up a book and start reading it. You're gonna react and do what you gotta do, so.
Yeah.
I think we had our hands-on experience in 2011, enough to see. We were lucky that didn't have any worse than what we had, but yeah, we got a real-world event, no question about it. Could have been a lot worse. especially if they had blown that levee down there.
How long of a gas did they put in that?
I don't know, Gerald,
I
I
don't-
just seen pictures.
half
of it.
mile?
I've flown over it. but-
Huh?
I've flown over it when the water was going in, but I can't tell you
You
exactly.
know, they fixed that where you could drop dynamite down in that levee and.
Yeah, they permanently install that stuff in there. It's all it's set to go, all they gotta do down there and give it a charge.
But now there's not any houses involved in flooding, is there, when they do that?
Just a few
Is
that
it
were
still
in there.
some?
Yeah, but I think it was,
Surely they won't build back, I mean, it'd
No.
be full too.
there was only a few, and then that levee was built in 1927, after the 27 flood. And they blew that levee in 37,
Mhm.
I think they've blown that, this is the third time if I
probably,
read that.
I know at least
It
twice.
looks like they fixed that where they could drain it before it became a disaster. Would it hurt anything?
Well,
Wouldn't feel
they
down
have
there dry?
they have to blow it when the water gets to a certain level. They got a plan, that's where I said you got a plan to use it. And there's a plan that says they have to blow that when the level hits a certain level, and that's where they was at.
Mhm.
And they was
That's
trying.
why the law comes into effect, I
Yeah,
guess. all
and
the
then they tried
lawsuits
to
and
get the
this.
court to stop it,
Mhm.
and the court said no. If you remember what happened,
What I was getting at, they had a smaller hole and could do that,
like a gate.
before it became a disaster.
Well, I don't know if you watched down in Mississippi, when they went on down to Mississippi on that flood in 2011. They're opening their gates on down the river. They've got some that are actually mechanically operated gates. They can open them up and just let the water go through the levee.
Mhm.
And they could
That's
do,
what I was wondering about.
again, they cost money to do it.
Well, yeah, but this costs millions of dollars. to
Yeah.
replace it.
I see the two senators from Missouri saying they're gonna fix it, so.
Well, I think that's a different levy altogether, isn't it?
No,
That was something going on from 2006, what I read.
the one that I saw in the paper yesterday was the one they blew. So it's-
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna have to fix
Bird's
that.
Point or whatever
Yeah,
it
where's
was.
the point, yeah, but what I was saying is you go on down the river, they've got some that's mechanically, so they can open it up without the boat going levee.
Mhm.
They just didn't do that there. Anyway,
Catch you later.
got somebody else here?
No, I just need to talk to Jason sometime.
Well, come right on in, man.
No, I'm not gonna sit, I don't have anything to say.
Thank you, Larry.
Well,
See you guys.
I'd say about 15, 20 minutes we'll be done. I'll walk
Okay.
down there.
Okay, thanks.
See you.
Jason, I'll put some phone numbers down for you if you wanna call Brian Breckenridge, you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Be careful.
What's going on?
Dana Jones, raise your right hand.
No.
Right hand.
That's my other right one.
Dana Jones, having been appointed to the office of County Treasurer in the County of Massac, do you solemnly swear and affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of County Treasurer to the best of your ability?
I do.
Just need to get your sign right there.
It's nice and painless.
Now, she's officially swore at,
All right.
probably one of the many swearings she's going to get.
Many swearing
It's
to
not,
go.
it's not the first one I've ever.
So, I don't know what the exact number is. We borrow what, 75%, 80%?
Yeah, Floyd has all that.
I mean, he had it all wrote down in his office, he said.
But I am starting to pay that reinsurance portion out of liability,
Good. Okay.
which will save about 20-some thousand a month.
Yeah. Be good. Hopefully that'll help us a little. Do you want me to talk with Dana and try to get that started?
I think so.
Okay. I'll talk with her and,
Who are we lacking on budgets getting turned in now there, do you know?
Mine's laying on my desk over there, but we'll get it, I'll get that today and then start filling out your line items.
okay. I got all of 2012, some copies of some old budgets and we can get together. What day this week would you want to get together on that?
I'll be here the rest of the week.
Okay, I'm working nights, but let me go down there and talk to Dana, I'll be right back.